Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Monatui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys our GBA Season 8 Week 3 match, team builder, versus NecroStevo of the Victorian Shadows. Now, definitely check out his YouTube link in the description below. We have actually played Necro before in the PPL. We have not played in the GBA yet, but we have played in the PPL previously, and our game, I believe we only played once, but our game was a lot of fun. So I am very much looking forward to this game versus him here. So without further ado, let us just get into the roster that Necro has. It should be popping up on now. Necro's team consists of Tyranitar, Togekiss, Hawlucha, Dhelmise, Mega Alakazam, Araquanid, Rotom Heat, Diggersby, Lycanroc Sun, that's Lycanroc Day, Alolan Executor, and Fortress. As you can see, his Z-move users are Lycanroc as well as Alolan Executor. So he's got a pretty scary team. As you can see, he's got several different wall breakers. He's got some setup potential. He's got some very fast threats, such as Mega Alakazam and Hawlucha. He's got some very powerful Pokemon like Dhelmise and Diggersby, things that can really break through me, even Tyranitar, for example. So we definitely have our work cut out for us. However, I believe I've built a team of 6 that will be able to take on whatever team of 6 he decides to bring, and so without further ado, let us get into that team. Starting off, we're going to be having our Registeel. This is going to be our Stealth Rocker this week, and it's going to be probably the most standard set in our team. Everything else is a little bit different, aside from our Weavile, which we will get into in a little bit. Weavile, maybe Keldeo, but Seismic Toss, Toxic, Stealth Rock, Protect. Obviously, I want this thing to be my Stealth Rocker. That's going to be very important. We have Protect for a couple reasons. One, I didn't really need anything in that last slot. Like, Seismic Toss is pretty much all I need for attacking moves. There's nothing that I can't break a sub with Seismic Toss on his team, unless he's like sub max HP Tyranitar, which I don't think he would be. And then obviously Toxic is very nice in order to wear things down, like Dhelmise that may want to switch in. Megazam, if he wants to switch it in, could be very useful, though I have to be careful about that. If he wants to hard switch in on Diggersby onto this thing, protecting a Thunder Wave or something like that, I will be able to hit that thing with a Toxic, which is very good. Obviously, I'll be able to hit things like the Hawlucha and Togekiss with the Toxic, even though they do have recovery. If I do hit him with the Toxic, I'll be able to wear him down. Araquanid, same thing. That thing is a big threat to my team, and I would like to be able to chip away at it so I can knock it out with something later on. And yeah, that's why I have Toxic, obviously. Like I said, Seismic Toss is all I need offensively, and I do want a Stealth Rocker this time around, so we are running Stealth Rocks. As you can see, we also are running Max Spadef. That is just so that I can take on things like the Togekiss and especially the Mega Alakazam as best as possible. Megazam is a very big threat to my team, and this is a pretty much hard counter. Focus Blast, I believe, does not 2-KO me if I'm fully Spadef, plus I have Protect, plus Focus Blast can miss, so that's going to be very useful for me. Obviously, I am threatened by things like Hawlucha and Diggersby, but also with Protect, I will be able to potentially block a Hawlucha's high jump kick, which is going to be very, very good for me, because that's 50% of his HP just gone immediately. So that's going to be our Registeel. Next up, we're going to move on to our Mega Charizard X, and this is a kind of a unique set. With me having Substitute, I will be able to set up Dragon Dances safely on something along the lines of Rotom. Like, he could be a physically defensive, like, bulky Rotom with Thunder Wave, and I'd be able to cripple regular Zard X, but with the Substitute, I'll be able to sub up on a Thunder Wave and gain a turn so that I can potentially go for a Dragon Dance, which is very nice. Obviously, he does have things on his team that will be able to deal with me, namely like Tyranitar and Lycanroc, but Lycanroc is 2-KO by Flare Blitz anyway. Tyranitar, I need a lot of chip damage off onto anyway to knock it out at +1 with Earthquake or something like that, or Dragon Claw, so I didn't really want to go for the Earthquake play. I would much rather have Substitute just so that I can more reliably set up. And again, even if he does have Tyranitar, it's not going to appreciate Flare Blitz necessarily. It'll still do like 25 to 30%. I have that chance to burn him. Also, he doesn't really... you know, I can roost off the Flare Blitz recoil later on. I do have safe switch-ins to my to his Tyranitar in Gliscor and Keldeo, which is really nice. Even Comfy can kind of deal with it. So again, I'm not terribly afraid of Tyranitar. It does obviously deal with Charizard, but I will be weakening it every time it comes in with Flare Blitz, and then I can roost off the damage, whereas he has no recovery. So that's going to be my Charizard X. It's a very, very big threat to his team. It can potentially just set up and win. It has several different things I can set up on, for example, like the Rotom Heat. I can potentially set up on the Hawlucha if it doesn't want to stay in, the Dhelmise, the Fortress for sure, so very, very useful Pokemon for me. Next up, we are going to go over our Keldeo, and we are running a Choice Scarf Modest Keldeo with Hydro Pump, Scald, Secret Sword, and HP Heist. I don't want to miss Icy Wind again, So we're running Hidden Power Ice, and then obviously just our standard dual stabs in Hydro Pump Scald and Secret Sword. So we can afford to run Modest this week. There's nothing that would be able to outspeed this spread, you know, which is very nice. We outspeed a Mega Alakazam, which is very important, and we'll be able to outspeed the majority of his team regardless of this, unless he decides to bring like a Scarf Lycanroc for whatever reason, which would be kind of silly. But you know, we have that. Obviously, again, the dual stab hurts pretty much everything on his team. The only switch-ins he has to it are his Dhelmise and his Araquanid. But Araquanid obviously doesn't do too much damage to me. If he's Splash Plate, Liquidation will not be able to 2-KO me. And then the Dhelmise, obviously, while it does hit me super effectively, I do have things like Charizard and even potentially Registeel that can counter it. I know obviously Dhelmise gives Earthquake, but I should be able to pivot into my Gliscor on Earthquakes relatively easily. Again, just a very threatening Pokemon for his team. He does not switch into Hydro Pump happily whatsoever. He barely switches into Secret Sword as well. If he does have the Dhelmise, again, I will be able to deal with it with several things on my team. So, again, this is just a very good Pokemon. I'm running up Scarf because I want this thing to sweep. You know, I want this thing to sweep, and I also wanted another offensive check to the Mega Alakazam. Mega Alakazam, like I said, very big threat, and I wanted something to be able to outspeed it and hit it very hard with a modest Hydro Pump or Scald. I believe even Secret Sword has a chance to 2-KO it. So that's going to be our Keldeo. Nothing terribly crazy outside of the fact that obviously we are modest. And next up we are going into our Weavile. So standard Life Orb Weavile, Knockoff, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, and Low Kick. You're going to be seeing this a lot with Weavile just because it's able to break down teams very easily. I really wanted this mon. It allows me a Psychic Immunity for his Alakazam, which is big. You know, if he only has Focus Blast to hit me, then that's going to be very good for me because that means I have a 30% chance to live and knock him out with Knockoff, which is very good. We're not running Pursuit just because I feel like if he was in with Mega Alakazam, he would stay in versus my Weavile anyway, fearing the Pursuit, so I'm not going to bother with it. Plus, I do need Low Kick for the Tyranitar anyway, and then I do, of course, need my Dual Stab and Knockoff, Icicle Crash, and the priority of Ice Shard. I will be able to pick off Alakazam if it's below about 40%. With the Life Orb Ice Shard, which is very good for me. I also do outspeed Diggersby, so if he is running like a Bandit or Life Orb Quick Attack set, I will be able to outspeed him and hit him with the Ice Shard, potentially pick him off. Scarf Togekiss I can out-prioritize and hit it with the Ice Shard. Knockoff is a huge issue for his entire team. He does not have a good knockoff switch whatsoever. Even if Fortress comes in, I get rid of that thing's item, I go out into my Charizard X, which can set up on it. Basically, whatever can potentially deal with Weavile, my Charizard can set up on, so that's very, very good for me. And again, Weavile is just Weavile. It's going to do a lot of good work throughout this game. So that's that. Again, Weavile, very, very big threat. Next up on our team, we are going to be going over our Comfey. This is the first time we're bringing this thing, and I'm very happy to have it. And as you can see, we are running Draining Kiss, Calm Mind, Defog, and Synthesis. Now, I wanted Leech Seed over Defog just because Synthesis is the most reliable versus a team with a Tyranitar and versus a team that'll be getting up Sand versus me. However, I do want Synthesis over Leech Seed. I want that immediate recovery, and also I needed Defog for this game because he does have Araquanid, and Webs up versus my team makes it very difficult to win, and it makes me very, very weak to something like Alakazam because then my Keldeo will not be able to outspeed it. It makes most of his team faster than the Weavile, which is a big problem. So we are going to be running Defog on this, and I didn't really need the third move slot. Like, Draining Kiss is really the only attacking move I need. He doesn't have a fantastic Fairy Resist. Like, I beat Fortress 1v1 because I am fully physically defensive. I take Gyro Balls easily. He does have Rotom Heat, but assuming I get up a Calm Mind, I will be able to deal with it easily. Obviously, he could potentially trick me, but if he no longer has the Choice Scarf, my Weavile will be able to outspeed it, which is very important. Although I don't expect this mon to sweep, it potentially could depending on what he sends it in on. I'll be able to do decent damage to things if I get up like 3 Calm Minds. I should be able to 2-KO most of his team. And again, because of my Fairy typing, that's going to be very useful because I obviously resist Crunch from Tyranitar. My Draining Kiss will be prioritized, so I'll be able to hit Togekiss before it's able to flinch me to death. I'll be able to Calm Mind up versus Tyranitar and then Draining Kiss it for a lot of HP back. Same thing, like I'll be able to out-prioritize Diggersby's quick attack, I'll be able to hit up the Arachnid, which is very nice. Because I am physically defensive, I can take Stone Edges from Tyranitar decently, and again heal up with that Draining Kiss. I can take on most of the things on his team. He does have things that threaten me, but again, this Comfy should just be able to put in a lot of work with its ability to set up on a good number of things on his team, and even if it's not able to set up and sweep, it can at least get rid of the sticky web on my side of the field, which is extremely important because, as I mentioned earlier, webs are just a huge issue. So that's going to be that. That's going to be our Comfy. Very happy to be bringing it this week. And then we have our Gliscor, which is not going to be terribly special. Earthquake, Aerial Ace, Toxic, and Roost. We have Earthquake, obviously, for general stab and being able to hit a lot of things hard. And then we have Aerial Ace, which is very important for the Howlucha. If he's a sub-SD Howlucha, obviously he can avoid getting Toxic, and then he can just set up and sweep me. Like, he can absolutely wreck me with that set. Once he gets up to, like, +2, he'll be able to beat my entire team if he has the Unburden boost. So I didn't want him to be able to set up for free, so we do have that Aerial Ace, which is very important. Aerial Ace also allows me to hit the Arachnid for a potential 2 Akio, more than likely a 3 Akio, but I will be hitting it with super effective coverage, which is very nice. And then obviously with Aerial Ace I'll be able to hit the Dhelmise as well for some damage. Toxic obviously is there so that I can wear certain things down. Same things that I mentioned earlier that I could Toxic with Registeel applies to Gliscor. And then we have Roost for the immediate recovery, and then our speed. And the speed that we are running on Gliscor is enough so that we can outspeed a max speed Adamant Diggersby, which is going to be very useful because I think he's going to be running webs. I feel like he'd be running Adamant on Diggersby just for that extra power. He could be running Jolly, but if he's Jolly, he's less of a threat to things like my Gliscor and whatnot. Initially on this team, I had Snorlax over Gliscor because Snorlax actually put in a lot of work versus him. I was going to be the Facade Crunch variant with Figgy Berry and Recycle so that I can hit Dhelmise as well as the rest of his team with Facade. But then I looked at my team and realized that I had absolutely no Earthquake switching for Diggersby, so couldn't really have that. I needed to have Gliscor. Even though Return or Ice Punch will hit me very hard, I can at least stop him from spamming Earthquake versus me, which is very important. So that's going to be the team. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Obviously, I hope you guys enjoy the match. That'll be going up tomorrow at 4 PM Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys again, and I will see you then.